Hi, Andrea here again on the Wrath-Bearing Tree YouTube channel, and I thought I would drop by today to read just one poem for your 4th of July weekend. This is a poem by a living American poet, Carl Phillips. He is a St. Louis, Missouri-based poet and someone who I've been reading for several months now, several times a week, just really enjoying his work. And because it's 4th of July weekend and we've had so many questions lately about things like history, memory, things that last, I thought I would read a poem that Carl Phillips wrote about Julius Caesar, among other things. Because for 4th of July weekend it is making me think about empire and history and what we can salvage and what we learn. So this is the poem Roman Glass by Carl Phillips, and as you can see, I'm a terrible dog-earer, which I recently learned means that you are chaotic evil, so look out. Okay, this is Roman Glass by Carl Phillips. Even in the latter raveling days of the Republic, the Romans clung archaically, naively, to a belief in equal rule. Each year, 2 consuls were still elected to govern, each equally helpless, inconsequential. If for nothing else, it's for at least his effectiveness and unwavering sense of priority that Julius Caesar deserves our attention. As example, recognizing the folly of equal rule, he quite efficiently, because literally, saw to the removal of his colleague and enemy, Pompey's head. Never mind that he is said not to have given such an order, that in public he displayed revulsion upon being presented the head by his victorious army. Caesar is sure to have admired in the soldiers, if not their loyalty, which virtue too, like beauty, he understood as inherently flawed and therefore subject to erosion, then their precision, their thoroughness, their refusal to compromise any more than had the blade in the executioner's hand. Of course, Caesar was also murdered, but he prefigures and serves as immediate catalyst for empire, a system which, though bloodier, was nevertheless more durable, hypnotic, and worthy of study, hence the abrupt rise in the number of those wanting to chronicle their own times. Granted, the poetry produced in this period remains, with a few assumable exceptions, negligible in quality, but the prose flourishes, especially that which gets written under the most brutal and often violent laws of censorship. It is as if restraint, often enough a naggingly realistic fear for one's life, exerted upon prose, and relentlessly, whatever pressure it is that, in effect, can render a poetry from prose, in the way, say, sharded glass becomes other and newly valued, given a long enough exposure to the ocean's necessarily indifferent handling. That piece in your hands now, I found it just south of Rome, not far from the waters that, despite pollution, when they receive the light reflected off the salmon sky, oxblood-colored villas that front the boat-littered Bay of Naples, suggest something still of a grand history that is finally holy, there being always a holiness attached to that which is absolute, even should the subject prove the entire time to have been lost. That's Roman Glass by the American poet Carl